It's been shooting the entire time. Fantastic. Here's the memory of the camera, and this is actually, that's an interesting thought. This is the memory of the landscape. That landscape is gone. It may never be seen again in the history of civilization, and it's stored right here. In 1984, the glacier was down there, 11 miles away. And today, it's back here, receded 11 miles. The glacier is retreating, but it's also thinning at the same time. It's like air being let out of a balloon. You can see what's called the trim line. It's the high water mark of the glacier in 1984. That vertical change is the height of the Empire State Building. You know, we're really in the midst of geologic scale change. You know, our brains are programmed to think that geology is something that happened a long time ago or will happen a long time in the future. And we don't think that that can happen during these little years that we each live on this planet. But the reality is that it does, that things can happen very, very, very quickly. We're living through one of those moments of epochal geologic change right now. And we humans are causing it. Up and down the edges of the ice sheet, there's this zone called the melt zone. This is where the sheet is melting and that stored water from the ice sheet is running out to sea.
I have to wrap my knees for the day's festivities. This knee has had 2 surgeries on it already, and it really could use a third.
Looks like the surface of the moon. Look at those holes. Oh my gosh, look at this stuff. I had no idea it was so thick in here. This stuff, this cryoconite, it's made from a combination of natural dust that blows in from the deserts of Central Asia, mixed with little flakes of carbon, fine particles of soot that come from wildfires, diesel exhaust, and coal-fired power plants. And on top of it, there's algae that grows out here. And all of that stuff accumulates in these little holes. And because it's black, it absorbs the sun's heat more than the surrounding ice does. And all over the surface of the ice sheet, there's literally billions of these little cryoconite holes melting away and filling up with water. And when you look down in those holes, you can actually see these little bubbles of ancient air being released as the ice sheet melts. Wow. The part of Greenland that's melting is out on the edges of the ice sheet. And that area is growing and it's moving higher up onto the ice sheet as the climate changes in that part of the world. You see all this water melting down through these Swiss cheese holes, and you see it melting down through the channels. It goes from little channels into big channels, and eventually everything drops vertically down through these big moulin caverns, goes down to the bottom of the ice sheet and out to the ocean.
Ordinarily, if you make climate a little warmer, the glacier shrinks a little bit. If you make climate a little colder, the glacier grows a little bit. And those 2 things kind of work to maintain a balance. But if it gets too warm and the ice gets too thin, it doesn't respond just a little bit. The volume drops. You cross that tipping point, climate no longer matters. It's irreversible. It's just going to keep going.
The sea level rise that will happen in my daughter's lifetimes will be somewhere between 1.5 feet and 3 feet, minimum. That doesn't sound like a lot if you live up in the Rocky Mountains, but if you live down in Chesapeake Bay, along the Gulf Coast of the United States, in the Ganges floodplain, that matters a lot. It matters in China, it matters in Indonesia. A minimum of 150 million people will be displaced. That's like approximately half the size of the United States. And all those people are going to be flushed out and have to move somewhere else. It also intensifies the impact of hurricanes and typhoons. It means that there's a lot more high water along the coastline, so when these big storms come, it pushes that much more water that much further inland. That's where our story of Greenland climate change is expressed. It's in that meltwater rushing out to the ocean. That's what we're photographing. That's what I've been up there trying to document.
You know, I've seen this thing from your photos and sat pictures, but to be here, it's incredible. It's all becoming a little more real.
While we're heading over, why don't I walk over there and give you some scale?
Sure. Just be careful. Don't get too close to the edge, all right? Stay up where it's flat. This is really something.
This is terrifying.
This isn't a 10-foot little hole in the ground. It's 100 feet deep into an abyss. And if you don't have that little dot of a person for scale, then it's lost.
That is fabulous. This is a reasonable route right here. Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
That's like a gift.
This is the dangerous spot.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, and then the other danger is that the whole thing suddenly implodes and the entire thing collapses, but I don't think that's very likely.
This Mulan is one of thousands of Mulans all over the melt zone in Greenland. And every day, the ice is cooking down and water is pouring into the ice sheet. It's enormous. You can't wrap your head around how much water is coming off of this place.
You got it.
Adam, have you ever done something like this before?
No, not at all.
It's all calculated risk. It's not like we're just going out there and playing Russian roulette.
Piece of cake. Oh, there's all sorts of curious crinkling and crunching effects in my knee. It's not what the doctor ordered. All right. Look down.
Look down.
Look down.
It's just bottomless. Oh my God. Oh, I do not want to go any lower than this.
I'm going out here on this broken fin, okay? And I assume it won't collapse. Okay, good, all done.
Oh, thank God.
Fantastic. There were audible chunks of gravel-like substances that I could feel rolling around in there.
Bionic man.
I was covering up the soreness with anti-inflammatories and painkillers so that I could function in the field, and I would think, oh, that's pretty good, not so bad. But the drugs were masking the symptoms way more than I had realized.
Combine your. Love you.
More and more people are becoming increasingly skeptical about the existence of climate change.
The so-called climate scientists are hoodwinking the entire world community.
There is no consensus. This is a myth.
The notion that man-made gases, anthropogenic gases, CO2, cause global warming is probably the greatest hoax ever perpetrated on the American people.
All of this garbage science has been a total fraud and a fake.
Jim was told after his surgery that hiking is not a form of exercise that they want him to pursue anymore. I'm not sure that's sunken in quite yet.
I think when we started out, the glacier was approximately right here. It might have been there, it might have been here, but it's in this zone somewhere.
Look at this. In 05, you couldn't even look into the canyon back there. Look, it was all filled up to that point. And look how low it is now. Beautiful. And that's 2007. That isn't even 2005. In 2007, just 2 years ago, you couldn't see any of that mountain ridge over there. The thing is deflated tremendously. I mean, I don't know what the number of feet is, but it's a lot. If I hadn't seen it in the pictures, I wouldn't believe it at all. When I saw that glacier dying, it was like, wow, you know, if a glacier that's been here for 30,000 years or 100,000 years is literally dying in front of my eyes, you're very aware of the fact that sometime you go out over the horizon and you don't come back.
James is now doing exactly what his doctors said he shouldn't be doing.
A little more. Okay. Yes, there you go.
It feels worse this morning than it has any day since the surgery. It felt better the 3 days after the surgery than it feels right now. I think the best piece of this is safety liability.
You can maybe loop your way up, but you can't go down that. I mean, you need to go up there, check on the camera and all that, but you don't necessarily need to do it. I mean, that's more of a climb than we did in the past 2 days.
I have a hard time letting ideas go, you know.
But here's another thing. That's why your knee's like this.
Okay. You guys should at least go and look at one of the cameras, get it downloaded, get the computer changed today. Okay?
Yep.
All right, enough.
Hey, come on. Every once in a while, you sing back my head saying, project is now where years there's like hundreds of thousands of images. Hey, that really weird. We do something special about photo much that places your mind on the surface of the ocean. You're no longer just being walking around in the real world. You're a human animal spreading around on the surface of the planet out in the middle of the galaxy. We as culture will forget that we are actually a natural organism, that we have every connection and contact with nature, and to civilization from nature totally depends on it. Story after that, he's on this long message to this really hard to get to. You get shot that is just such a shot in dirt. The idea spawned from this one picture called Sword. That event was so spectacular. We decided, okay, we gotta go back. Pick up the glacier, the glacier, and that's it.
We're gonna try to get some big heavy events, kilometer wide pieces of ice coming off of this massive glacier.
Lewis Glacier is kind of like the mother of all glaciers in Greenland. It is the most productive glacier in the northern hemisphere. It's from this glacier that put out the iceberg that sank the Titanic. It flows 130 feet every day. This is a really, really huge shore of ice, and it's 5 miles wide.
It's massive.
Totally awesome.
He's about turning on from the peninsula that we think's gonna go. He's at base it.
My boots are frozen. I'm really tired. And nothing happens for days and days and days. We called it glacier walking.
Because literally it was just me and Adam for 3 weeks watching ice.
Photography for me has been, as much as anything, about a raising of awareness. Through that camera, you know, we become vehicles to raise awareness outside my own experience. And in this case, we are the messengers.
He is a visionary, and his works are like sacred objects. I present James Balog.
Well, thank you so much. Can we dim the house lights a little bit more? That's it, better, okay.
What I'm here to do tonight is bring to you tangible visual evidence of the immediacy of climate change itself. Glaciers matter because they're in the global coal mine. It's the place we see climate change happen. Without further ado, let me tell you what we've been seeing out there. This is a glacier called the Solheim Glacier. We're looking down on it. Now we turn our timeline. You can see the terminus retreating. You can see this river being formed. You can look at this. You'll see deflation happening here as the heat takes away the surface of the glacier and the surface drops. At the